We are back with another Savage stream. I don't have my lights on. I don't have nothing going on. I am just trying to get by here. I actually I am having a little bit to drink, so that's good. First time in a week. So I think I might have drank something last Friday or something. But it is Fireball and sweet tea, just like usual. So it is Fireball Friday for me. But I don't really have anything too much, like no plan or anything like that. I was just gonna kind of hang out with you guys and talk some crypto and maybe answer some questions and try to figure out what's going on with EIP 1559 and maybe the 3060, which we already talked about this week, but there's still a lot of questions, right? Max Voltage is over here. He's talking about certain what's up, Yashnik? He's talking about some parts of the EIP 1559. This is that proposal for Ethereum that takes away the rewards, basically, right? It burns the base fee and doesn't give it to miners like it does now. So it's hugely controversial. I was reading on it a little bit before the stream, even more. I did a video on it, I think it was last night, and it's pretty complicated, and the reasoning behind it gets pretty in depth. Again, I will go back to what I said last night. If ETH 2.0, the proof of stake, is supposed to be here relatively soon, meaning within 1 to 2 years, I would say, then I would say that I don't see the whole point of this particular EIP to be implemented, because you're going to be changing the network anyway in a supposedly a short amount of time. So it seems like a lot of work. It seems like a lot of changes to introduce. Bitsby Trippin Carter did a great video, real quick, 5-minute video, I think, on 1559 today or yesterday afternoon. And he's right, because there's some level of confidence in a network, right? Whenever you either choose to mine it, choose to use it, choose to invest in it, all those different factors come into play. And whenever you start changing, you being the people who control it, it's supposed to be decentralized, but it seems like that's not the case. If they can make changes like this, it seems like that's not the case. Although the miners still have to accept it. I get all, or the mining pools have to accept it. I get all that. I'm just saying, in general here. So whenever you start throwing a lot of changes into a project that is established, I can see how that can give you leave you with a bad taste in your mouth, so to speak, because I mean, come on, you want to have some consistency in your investments, whether it's with your hash power, your time and effort, your actual capital, your actual money that goes into it. If you are an investor in Ethereum, introducing changes is not a good look. We've seen this in other projects too that have done huge 180s or whatever. It hardly, I don't think that there's been very many cases. I think I actually looked this up one time because I was curious how many businesses or how many projects have done like a huge pivot and come out ahead on the other end, right? Like a better product. And I want to say that there's not very many. I remember from my research, just looking at it briefly, I don't think I found but maybe 1 or 2, and which ones they are kind of escapes me right now, but probably the Fireball talking. But I don't know if you guys can think of a project that has actually changed and come out ahead on the other end after the change, and let me know. Go ahead and throw that in the chat or something. I'm going to go grab this link here from Max Voltage. He's talking about, I will throw it here, and let me know if you guys see that link. It's in chat on my screen, but again, remember, YouTube gets kind of crazy sometimes, and sometimes they delete those links. So hopefully it works. All right, let's see what you guys are talking about here. Yeah. If you post a 3060 Ti in here for sale, then yeah, the very first question is how much, right? Let's see here. Yeah, Max is pointing out a good point. Focus on the problems that it solves, if it solves any at all. The EIP 1559, if I'm not mistaken, is very old. At least the initial drafts by Vitalik. I think that the one that they're looking at implementing is a little bit different than what he intended originally. But I want to say that the first part of this, the first draft, so to speak, of 1559 was a couple of years ago, maybe even 3 years ago. So it's been in the plan for quite some time. I was reading some articles that were many years old about this specific thing, and I want to say that it was even a part of Ethereum initially. Like, it was one of the first things that they talked about doing. So where it gets complicated, but EIP 1559, if it's implemented, then basically the block size is going to be dynamic, right? The block size is going to be dynamic, and that means that so if the tips and the fees on top of the block size, or the block rewards, if it's more than the block rewards themselves, then Ethereum becomes inflationary. And if those fees, the tips, and all that stuff for the miners are less than the block rewards, then it becomes deflationary. So it's really dynamic, and there's really no way for them to determine a max supply or the economic impact over a long period of time. You know, it's definitely risky, that's for sure. Which goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's like, why do this if there's so much risk? Then what is the rush to do something like this? I don't know. Yeah, profits are killing it right now, you know, because of the transaction fees. I can't say that I completely disagree with 1559, at least parts of it, because I talked about this, I think, last night. So the issue is the transaction fees, block rewards being so huge, right? If you're a new Ethereum user, you're trying to onboard, right? Like your first exposure to crypto maybe is Bitcoin, and then certainly your next exposure is going to be Ethereum. And if you try to transact on an Ethereum network, whenever the transaction fees are so huge, you try to send $10, it costs $10 to send it. That's not a good look, right? I can see the justification behind that. I can see why they would want to implement a mechanism to stop that from happening. And I said this last night, if Ethereum goes to 3,000, right? And some of these things inside of EIP 1559 could actually help that happen. So if Ethereum were to go to 3K, right? 3K USD value, then all this is kind of moot, right? This is like not even a concern, because it's not going to matter. To miners, we're still going to be making, I think it's around 3,000. I was trying to look at the numbers and try to figure out like the average block rewards over a long period of time, and how much value Ethereum would actually have to be in order for this to be a non-issue. And I think it's right around 3,000, somewhere around 2,500, 3,000. If it gets to there, then all this is kind of nonsense to even worry about, because we're going to still be, the profits are going to be likely similar or the same. But I did point out last night, now look, we are in a very euphoric state right now. This is not normal, okay? You know, whenever your Ethereum profits are so much higher than the very next one down, no, that's not realistic. That's not a realistic thing. That's an anomaly, sort of, right? Because you're basing it on current valuation, current demand, all that stuff that goes on the Ethereum network. So I think if it were to level out and be normalized, a realistic value. Now I love the value right now. Of course, we all try to fight to maintain that high level of profitability. It would be great. Is it realistic? Probably not, because it's just not realistic whenever you go so much higher than the next project down, right? So I'm going to keep researching the IP 1559. I've got a few articles I'm reading about it, and it looks like Max Voltage has got a really good one from Tim Bakey. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name, from Ethereum. So that should be interesting. I'll read that. Let me see what Max is saying over here real quick. Yeah, on the value burning the fees, unless it was, let's see, this gets so complicated. It really does get complicated. I did put some notes over here. Let me see. Okay, let me reread what you said here. Doesn't make sense to burn the ETH. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay, so you're kind of you would kind of be looking at, okay, so what gives Ethereum value, right? So that, I think that's where Carter was going with that from Bitsby Trippin'. I think he was trying to say, like, what actually gives it value. It's not the not the fees that gives it value, right? So there's, well, I mean, that's part of it. The fees do give it value. So yeah, I see what you're saying. So why burn them? But because there's not, like he was saying, there's not a max supply, right? So Ethereum, there's no, actually, I think there's been some controversy over how much is actually out there anyway, right? There's not a way of knowing exactly how much is in circulation, from what I understand. So if that's the case, then how would decreasing it actually, decreasing the supply actually increase the value, right? And I actually talked about this a little bit last night, and I was actually kind of a proponent of that. Like, if you decrease the supply, or you decrease the circulating supply, or the amount available, then the value will go up. I was kind of missing the point about Ethereum not having a maximum supply and stuff. But what was going through my mind at the time was the fact of staking and proof of stake and going to ETH 2.0 and all that. Because right now there's how many millions? 3 million, something like that. Ethereum that are staked. That is a one-way transaction. You can't even get them off of that. So if you, let's go and look. It's the Launchpad, I think, right? Let's go look at that real quick. I know I got to get out of here so that we can get over to DC Adventure, but let's check this out real quick. So there are 2.5 million ETH currently staked, and these aren't coming back within any short amount of time, at least a year or two, right? Before you could actually withdraw these. The way I understand, I know that it's a one-way transaction basically, right? So these aren't coming back. So if you decrease, and there were some exchanges, let me turn that off. There were some exchanges that were saying that they were, I know it was for Bitcoin, and I believe I saw them talking about Ethereum also. Like, they don't have enough Ethereum or Bitcoin on the exchange to sell, right? That's available for the demand. And you could see some crazy stuff happen with ETH if these big players, these institutions, whatever you want to call them, billionaires, whatever they are, if they catch on to ETH, and there are some that already are, then you could see like a shock supply, right? Like there's no ETH to even buy out there. Like the buy books will be, there won't be anything there to buy. So I can see how decreasing the amount that's put out there could actually increase the value, but I think that it's such a small amount that it's hard to really quantify. I don't think that it would make a huge difference, you know. But yeah, the things that give Ethereum like value are the fact that you can use it on, you know, to swap for other tokens, obviously, like Uniswap and stuff like that. You can use it for collateral to purchase other projects or other tokens like ETHLend and MakerDAO and all those different platforms. There's some argument that you can use it for payments. You can use it for, like, look, for the ICO craze, for example, you were using ETH to buy into those other projects, you know, and that was essentially using Ethereum as a payment, right? So that's another benefit, that's another value added to it, or capability. Then there's like NFTs and stuff like that, non-fungible tokens. Recently been kind of huge. We had the DeFi craze. Also, you've got collectibles. You know, we saw that with CryptoKitties, and then there's other things going on now, other NFTs. So there is some value that you can, you know, apply to Ethereum. You also have bounties like Gitcoin that Ethereum is used for that. And then there's just clearly just the speculation of it. And the speculation for me comes in the whole staking, right? The proof of stake, the ETH 2.0. That I think is going to be humongous, because I think I tweeted about it. You know, if big players see that they, and by big I mean institutions, billionaires, if they see that, okay, I can buy Bitcoin and hope that the value goes up, and it probably will. Okay, great. And I can buy Ethereum, which is on a freaking tear, and I can earn an interest, you know, from the staking of Ethereum. And Bitcoin, I mean, there are ways of earning interest on Bitcoin also, but it's not built into, you know, Bitcoin itself, and it's built into Ethereum. So I don't know. I think that that's huge for them. I mean, it's like guaranteed. Not only are you going to gain it if the value goes up, but you're going to gain those rewards for staking. So, all right, guys. I know I'm just rambling. Let's see here. What's going on? Yeah, there was a good, Max, there was a really good example. Someone said, I think it was one of the pools that tweeted this out, and they said that EIP 1559 and what it does to miners is like your waiter or your server is like you burning the tip that you were going to give them in front of them and then laughing at them while you're burning it, right? That's kind of what EIP 1559 is doing to miners. I can't disagree with that. I think that's true. So, all right, guys, let's head over to, let me check and make sure that they are up and running. They might be waiting on me. I don't know. Okay, they are live. It looks like 18 folks watching. So head over to DCA Adventure. Let's do a Savage raid. You guys are awesome for hanging out. I really appreciate it. You guys make my night. I'm able to talk about some crypto. We didn't even get to like the RTX 3060, but I talked about that this week as well. So make sure you do a Savage raid over there. That's it, my friends. I will see you over in DCA Adventure. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for hanging out. And I think we're going to play some poker after DCA Adventure. So if you want to know about what to do to play some poker with us, I think Nim is going to play. I'm pretty sure Max Voltage is going to play. So if you want to know how to do it, hit us up in DCA Adventure here, that link that I just posted, and come and play with us. I mean, we're playing for free money. It's just kind of goofing off and goofing around, but it's still fun. but we'd like to get some players over there. So you know, just to chit chat. We can talk crypto. We can fire up Discord and get in voice chat and make it a thing. It'll be fun. So I'll see you guys over there. DCA Adventure. Stay savage, everybody.